correctly to both YouTube and the business page on Facebook. Last week it broadcast to YouTube correctly and not to, let me see here one second, not to my YouTube channel. But this is a Twin Flames soulmate reading for, one second, I'm just gotta find something really quick. Oh, hold on, bear with me guys. It's Sunday, my ass is dragging. Okay, it looks like we are online. Let me just change this really quick and then we should be good to go. And I hope that this is also broadcasting to YouTube. I am gonna turn off the chat box really quick, just because I don't wanna be sidetracked as I do this reading. I will look and see who all is here, just to say hello. Hey Marita, how are you? Hi Bridget, hi Gabby, hey Jennifer, hey Rachel McIntyre. Okay, cool, this is on YouTube, awesome. So this is gonna be the continuation of that video, if at all possible. I mean, I'm not sure what's gonna happen here. I'm just gonna keep doing these, I think, on Sundays and see what comes out in the cards, because I feel inspired to do so. So I'm gonna just roll with the same decks that I used last week. Unfortunately, for those of you watching on YouTube, last week's broadcast only made it to the Facebook business page. For some reason, YouTube didn't pick it up. So you have to go to my Facebook business page for those of you that find this reading and want to see what was going on in this in last week's reading on the Engelgeist business page on Facebook. So I'm going to use the exact same decks, all by Jennifer Aquarius Tarot, all centered around love. The first deck where I pull a masculine card and a feminine card just kind of gives us an idea of where our masculine and feminine are at during this week. This can be interchangeable, guys, so do not get hung up on masculine representing as a male versus feminine representing as a female. We can transfer over. One week we might be holding space as the divine masculine in our relationship, and then the following week we've maybe shifted into a position of more of the divine feminine. So take what you need and sort of leave the rest. I'm just interested in seeing sort of where this all goes. So let's see what we've got going on. I am going to start to shuffle the deck for one card for masculine and one card for feminine. Thank you all for tuning in. Please, wherever you're watching from, give this video a like if you'd like. Share it out. Sharing is caring, people. There could be somebody out there that's struggling either to find a relationship or looking for a relationship. They might need to see this. Maybe they're struggling within a relationship. They might need to see this. If it applies, please leave me a comment. That would greatly help too. And I'm hoping that this is a continuation of last week's reading. I don't know that it will be. It could be a whole new couple. I'm not sure. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know that I want to sign on for doing these for each of the 12 signs every month. I know some people that do them like even twice. It's just like daunting. So let's see. And basically, like I said, take what you need and leave the rest. For those of you that are new to me that haven't subscribed to the business page or to the YouTube channel, please feel free to hit subscribe so that you get notified when I do go live. Like right now. I am not paying attention to the chat box, just so you know, so I'm not ignoring you. I'm paying attention to the reading. And this reading is for you. If some parts of it may not resonate, and some might. So for our divine masculine, interesting. We have the Nine of Cups, which is abundance, independent, and wishful. Let me just close the divine masculine's legs a little bit there on his holder. Very feminine card for the divine masculine. I'm gonna just hold this up. I mean, check her out. She's actually got a lot of liquor bottles around her. Do you see that? But it would be placed this way, but she's actually laying in repose. The Nine of Cups is actually a really beautiful card. This is sort of this abundant card, an emotional abundance, a personal abundance. All the booze is a little bit unnerving. We could have an alcoholic Pisces on our hand as our masculine. That's sort of a joke, but sort of not. There is this opportunity for dreaming. Definitely with this card, with the idea of the emotions, sort of feeling what feels right, feeling what feels good. There could be a little bit of escapism happening with the masculine. Automatically, with this being with as my divine masculine, sort of where he's resonating at or where they're resonating at right now, to me, it makes me feel like we might still be on that idea of separation. We're going to look at the feminine's card and see where my feminine is at. That will give us a little bit more of an insight. This to me speaks to this idea of being in the emotions and quite possibly dreaming. That's that word wishful here. Our masculine may be working on some stuff or trying to set up the dream, set up the idea of how they want it, how it's supposed to feel for them personally, okay? Now, our feminine is resonating at the Page of Wands. I love this. I can't remember all the cards, but I feel like this was one of the cards that was in the masculine side last week. There was a sparkler in the design. So the Page of Wands is curious, playful, and exciting plans. I really like both of these cards because the wishfulness of the masculine in the Nine of Cups, the Page of Wands, wands being the element of fire, wands being the element of spirit, the page being enthusiastic, willing to learn, being open to new experiences. That would be the curiousness and playfulness of this card. I love that there is definitely a spark we have going on here. Our feminines may be a little bit more aware of the spark than our masculines, but our masculines are feeling good, if that makes sense. This Nine of Cups to me speaks to personal fulfillment, personal joy, and in the exploring of that. Our masculines, though, I feel like the way that this female's body is sort of turned away, even though the card should be like this, but do you see how she's sort of looking in this direction? To me, it kind of feels like maybe our masculine might not be focusing on our feminine as much as our feminine might be focusing on the masculine. The feminine here has the sparkler holding it outward, like, here you go, honey. I've got this for you. I love you. I know that I love you. I feel this spark. I feel this desire. I feel this flame. Will you please take it? And the masculine's over here going like, yeah, just a minute. I'm feeling kind of good. Let me create a few more things. I will say this, the masculine, I think of the masculine role model as being sort of the provider. There might be something that the masculine is working on in a way to sort of stabilize things or get things in preparation for the arrival of this feminine, even though the feminine's kind of already knocking on the door, if that makes sense. She's already, or they are already there. I need to use better pronouns with this because I don't want to trip you guys up making you think that one is a girl and one is a boy. It's not necessarily that. It's just how to differentiate the two energies. But the more feminine of the two energies or receptive energy is actually, it's interesting to me. It's almost like the feminine is being more masculine and the masculine is being more feminine, which is a nice balance. I actually kind of like this, but I feel like she's being more action-oriented, being in the element of wands and the element of fire. Let me use my pointer. She has this spark here. She wants to share it in the enjoyment of that, where my masculine is more in his feminine or in their feminine energy, sort of exploring their emotions and their personal fulfillment. Okay, I think that there's nothing wrong with either of these. I think that there's bringing a nice balance. For those of you that are aware of your masculine or your feminine, and you guys have connected in some way, shape, or form, I think that these connections are actually producing the opposite results within who you are. And what I mean by that is sort of, we also have this balance of water and fire, right? And so those two are opposing forces, similar to like a masculine and feminine, but when they come together, they kind of can create this sort of opposites attract energy. And so when I'm looking at this, there might be things that your counterpart does that kind of doesn't make sense to you, or maybe, and I'm not sensing that from these two cards in particular, but I'm just saying the oppositeness of the water and fire, they not only are they opposite, but they also teach this other aspect of self. And so when I'm looking at the masculine, which would be sort of the more action-oriented kind of, or the perceived more action-oriented side of things, they're taking a more receptive, passive stance, where my feminines, which would be that more receptive, passive energy, are taking this more active, fiery action stance, which I like this. And both are sort of, I love this wishful, playful, curious, exciting plans, abundance. So my masculines and feminines are up to something. I can tell you that. It feels like if we're not on the same page just yet, we're definitely getting there. No pun intended, Page of Wands. But let's look at the past, present, and future for each of them. I'll pull 3 cards. Let me just shuffle the deck. Give me one moment. I kind of feel like there's also a playful energy to these 2 cards with this 9 of Cups and this Page of Wands. Certainly with the Page, but the 9 of Cups also has this sort of exuberance, this opportunity here of, like, I feel like my masculines are actually feeling themselves. There's an emotional, they might be resisting ever so slightly. That's why they're looking away, but they're dealing with it. They're aware of it. They see all these liquor bottles in the back. They might be wanting to drink away their troubles or their worries. And the feminine's just like, no, bitch, I'm over here. Look at my sparkler. Look at my shine. You know you want this. Okay, let's see here what's going on. Oh, let's see. And if you guys enjoy these readings, please let me know so I can continue to do them. Please let me know if they're making sense to you. Because they are broad spectrum readings, so, you know, it may resonate for you one week and the next week not, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong in your relationship. It's just sort of a guidepost or an idea. What might be going on. I do still sense this sort of separation, though. This kind of... I don't know. It's this 9 of Cups that makes me feel that. Okay, so we've got the past, the present, and the future for the masculine. And we've got the past, the present, and the future for the feminine. And then after this, we will pull clarifiers. So for my past with the masculine, let's see where my masculine was at. This is the 4 of Wands Foundation. This is actually kind of a twin flamey card, to be honest. This being that element of fire and wands definitely balances out this Page of Wands over here with the feminine. To me, when I look at the beauty of this card, it's all about sort of setting up the foundations. This also speaks to this abundance and this emotional sort of stability that the masculine might be trying to create within itself, within themselves, so that they can feel ready to kind of turn forward and move towards this Page of Wands. I kind of feel like the masculine is aware of the magnitude of this, has been sort of setting this up or looking at this for some time. There is a beautiful dream here, I feel like, when I look at this picture. This is like sort of the, you know, stability. 4s always represent that idea of stability. Wands being that sort of spiritual connection. So this is the idea of bringing the energy of that sort of spiritual connection into this place of having a strong foundation, being a set in beauty, being a place of relaxation. What else do I want to say about this card? Just somewhere where my masculines can come and be happy, right? Now, for their present card is the Page of Cups. Beautiful. So we have a double page energy going on. Page of Cups is this messages of love. It's always like sort of an offering of love or apology. To me, we might have a masculine that was drinking a little bit too much because of that 9 of Cups and is now needing some coffee this morning. But I'm just joking. But to me, I like that is the present energy of my masculine, is this Page of Cups. I'm going to say this masculine is aware, definitely aware, no doubt about it. Whether or not they're willing to admit it, that 9 of Cups with her head turned back, let me see, is this fully in the frame? That 9 of Cups with her head turned away sort of feels like they may not be willing to admit it. Whoever in this relationship is maybe hiding out slightly. This 4 of Wands, the Page of Cups, speaks to this idea that in the past they've known that whatever they have with you is significant. In the past they've definitely desired it with that 4 of Wands. With that Page of Cups, it's like right now they're presently coming to terms with wanting to offer that to you or make that clear to you, communicate that to you, bring that to you. But I feel like with that Nine of Cups energy, it's like there's some final touches, there's some final sort of acceptance emotionally of themselves, maybe of their situation, whatever it is that they're trying to pull together. They're really trying to solidify that so that it's almost like this foundation that they're trying to build here in this Four of Wands is really, really solid, right? And to do that, they need to sort of do the emotional work. And so they're kind of looking at that right now and trying to work on that. So let's see what their future card is. Their future card is the Three of Pentacles. Efforts noticed, third party. Oh, shit. All right, so third parties generally can be outside influences of any sort. This could be a masculine that is involved in another relationship. This could be a masculine that is involved in another, like say a very serious job where they have to work really hard. A third party situation can be anything sort of outside of the relationship that is affecting the relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be, well, generally third party stuff to me is negative, or it's just kind of in the way. A lot of times it can be a third party in the sense that your masculine might be tied up with something that's kind of messy, that they're trying to get rid of, that they're trying to change, that they're trying to separate themselves from. This being in the future position says to me that it feels as though going forward after this Page of Cups, which is in the present, which is this awareness, they're like, that cup of coffee to me is like, okay, my masculines are maybe waking up to the realization that, oh, actually, I might really have some seriously strong feelings for this feminine. It's time to put in the work. And the efforts of the feminine, which is presenting this sparkler and this idea of exciting plans, does excite the masculine. It lines up with what we see here in this Four of Wands, right? This idea of this strong, firm spiritual foundation of a relationship, this potential twin flame connection. And so the masculine is acknowledging that in the Page of Cups, and then hopefully moving towards the future is starting to strip away, let go, and that might be the emotional work that's happening here in this Nine of Cups. My masculines want to drink. I can't, they don't want to drink, but I feel like they're trying to separate and sort out a lot of stuff so that they can get clear, so that they can create this abundance that we see in this Nine of Cups. This efforts noticed. Three of Pentacles is always about collaboration too. So collaborating moving forward, this could be a collaboration with our feminine over here and creating these plans of movement forward and how that's going to happen. But it's also about sort of clearing the way so that can get about happening. Does that make sense? So we're going to look at the feminine's cards. So her past card, or their past card, is the Magician, manifesting visions. So my feminine has been at work. This is number one card of the major arcana. So it's always about taking the four elements and sort of making that happen. It makes sense with the Page of Wands, wands being the element of spirit and fire and action. I'm going to say this, guys. This Magician card coupled with this Four of Wands card speaks to me that the two of you have been on a very similar awareness. But going about it maybe in different ways. My feminines might have been a little bit more pushy, a little bit more vocal, a little bit more obvious, a little bit more just trying to make it happen. Create the vision, manifest the vision, and the power of the Magician, it's definitely there, right? There's definitely a magic there. But I feel like this Four of Wands, although it's spiritual and magical and beautiful, I feel like it moves a little bit less intensely. There was maybe a slight less of a rush from my masculines. But I do feel like both are positive and both were as far as the past was concerned, both were moving towards this bigger picture idea that they both had. I kind of get the feeling my feminines have a bigger awareness of what can be had, though. And that's all I can say about that. So this is your present time card. Let's see what that is. Oh, weird. So this was actually in... Where was this? This was in last week's Feminine's cards too. This was the plans for structure. This was down here, I think, in the future. Was it not? I can't remember, guys. I'll have to go back and watch the video, but I believe that this was the end card of the clarifiers for the future space for my feminines, okay? So what this speaks to is I feel like this actually is cluing me into that this is a progression of that story, or at least for my feminines in this reading. This was the end card of the future layout of the 3 clarifiers. So these plans for structure is where my feminines are at right now. My feminines are full bore, like they're being led by this magician, right? The magician is the pushing power behind it, this ability to manifest this belief in what is here, knowing that whatever this masculine is offering, even if it's not fully on offer yet, that's kind of this facing away with this 9 of Cups. This feminine can feel it, like she can feel it, trust. And that's the magician pushing her forward within her, right, to make this happen. This Page of Pentacles is that earth energy, bringing that in and sort of creating those plans, right, in a very methodical, sort of smart way, if that makes any sense. It's also interesting to me that we're not even that many deep into the reading, and 3 of the pages have showed up. We have the Page of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. So there is this, that gives me this sort of idea that there's a lot of learning for both sides in this. There's a lot of like sort of rearranging of feelings, emotions, goals. There's it almost feels to me with all of this page energy that we're looking at that the 2 are trying to come together and get on the same page. Get it? The 2 of them are trying to come together and like really understand one another, learn from one another, and really like sort of appreciate one another is hopefully that's the sense that I get from this energy, because the pages always, they bring messages, but they also bring enthusiasm and the ability to learn. They're teachable, right? And so I feel like my feminine is leading with this Page of Wands. My masculine's over here learning about like some emotional stuff. Definitely knows that he's feeling some emotion, or they're feeling emotions in the present moment. And my feminines are sort of trying to ground that through structure. Like they're saying like, okay, so if you're feeling this way, or you're giving me these signals, and I can sort of manifest these visions. This is also the similar to that creativity of that Empress that we saw last week. I remember that also was a major arcana card that showed up in the feminine side. This magician is sort of also kind of got that energy of creation, using the 4 elements and making things happen. So in this last week, we've maybe been channeling that masculine energy, or looking at this relationship, not channeling that masculine energy, and channeling that magician energy, and looking at this relationship with a little bit more positive outlook, a little bit more hope. And that's where we get this sort of youthful page energy that's coming in and helping us to sort of plan for the future. And again, we have plans for structure, and we have exciting plans here. So my feminines be writing in a diary. I don't know what y'all are doing, but you're definitely mapping it out, where I feel like my masculines are setting the foundations, working through the emotions, and clearing the path on their end of things. They may not be quite as clear and as ready as my feminines. I mean, but that's not a bad thing. I just feel like they're doing a different style work to open up sort of their doors to this kind of coming together. And then the future card for my feminines is the Knight of Cups. Now this was over in the masculine side last week. I remember this because he had that beautiful like king knight energy going on. This is that romance. So I'm gonna say this. I feel like my feminines are getting down for the get down. I feel like, I don't know if this is an exact continuation of last week's reading, but I feel like if those of you that watched last week's readings and you related to the feminine side of this, there was a lot of sort of fear and worry in my feminine side, right? And I feel like the acknowledgement in last week's readings of what was going on in the masculine side, and the acknowledgement of the fear that was like sort of in the feminine side from past experience, because she had They had death in the tower up here. I feel like my feminines will be relaxing moving into the future, into this beautiful Knight of Cups energy of being able to not only like present romance to their masculines, but also to accept that romance that we saw that was over here in this masculine side of things. Because we had, I think it was, what was it? The King of Wands and the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. So it was a very like emotional, and that explains this Nine of Cups here. So this is a sort of a continuation of whatever we were looking at for those of you that related to this. You might have switched sides though. Is some of my feminines that were over here last week could very easily be over here and relating to these cards, and that's totally acceptable. And for those of you that this is making sense for you right now and you didn't see last week's, that's completely fine too. You can take this reading and utilize it in your relationships with your significant others, or even in the creation of that, if you're in separation from your significant other. Because I do sense that there is this sort of feeling of separation. I don't feel like we're fully together yet in union. I feel like whatever, especially with this third party energy here and this Nine of Cups facing away, it feels to me that it's like they're in, but they're not physically able to be in fully just yet. For my masculine side of things, my feminine feels like she might be waiting a little bit, but that's okay. She's got busy work. She's got this Page of Pentacles. She's got this Magician energy running from the past. So she's ready to work this out. So now let me shuffle really quick for my masculine, for clarifiers. Come on, masculine. I don't even think that's enough clarifiers. Give me a couple more. Okay. All right, so we've got our past. We're just going to look at 3 cards in the past for the masculine. Let me slide this over. Is that how I did it? Did I do 3 or did I do 2? I can't remember. I think I did 3. Our present. Let me just slide this over just a little bit. Pardon me, guys. Make a little space. Let's pull the big pink balls out of the way. As much as I love big pink balls. And then let me pull that over. And then let's do the future for the masculine. And then I'm going to take these cards back together, shuffle for the feminine really quick, and just get her cards out, or their cards out really quick. And then we can get into the rest of the read. And then I'm going to do 3 cards for the Hidden Truths from the Jennifer Aquarius Oracle. And this time, because this is going to YouTube, you guys, I will put links, or you can look at my unboxing videos. I have unboxing videos with Jennifer Aquarius's links to her decks on Etsy. If you check the unboxing videos, if you like these decks, there is a promo code that she included to get a discount on purchasing these decks from her on Etsy. All right, let's see what's going on with my feminines. Past, present, future. Okay, feminine's got a lot of energy going on in the future. So for the past, the present, and the future. Okay. All right, so let's start with our masculines again. Let me just see here. Let me put this deck away just so I don't reuse it by accident. All right, so for the past with my masculines, their first card out, this just gives us a little insight, is the Six of Wands. This is Spotlight. Sitting next to this 4 of Wands. I feel like all of this Wands energy is about taking action in the past, in the recent past for my masculines. This is about fiery, dynamic, spiritual drive. This is about getting, moving things forward in a way, or being driven towards things that are forward, being based in a solid foundation for my masculines. There's definitely a fiery nature to this energy. It's about, I kind of feel like just spiritually being in pursuit of something and not wanting to give up on it. whether they're willing to admit it or not. Then we have the Six of Swords, which is transition and tranquility. And then I just want to look at the last one really quick. We have the High Priestess, which is mysterious and intuitive. All right. So I feel like my masculines, there's definitely between the Six of Swords and the Six of Wands, even though these are like balanced, like nice cards, I feel like there's this fight between what the mind wants and the spirit wants. And then we have the High Priestess here kind of ending off the past, which speaks to this idea that my masculines are kind of tapped in right now. I don't know, we're going to look at their present in a moment, but I feel like there might have been a bit of a struggle in the past with this idea of this Four of Wands foundation, the Six of Wands, and then the Six of Swords. To me, it feels like that balancing of the mind and the spirit. And then the High Priestess is that high intuition that's kind of like poking them in the back. Like, let's do this, let's do this. And so any reluctance that, or any slowness, any kind of trying to put I don't feel like the masculines are trying to put a stop to it. I just feel like they want to be sure. That's the Six of Swords. Or they wanted to be sure in the past, right? They want it all to sort of balance out. They want it to be, there could be a little bit of perfection energy in this too. But the High Priestess to me feels like she matches very nicely with that magician energy that's in the feminine's past, right? And it's interesting, again, weird. The magician, this being our feminine side, the magician is masculine. He's card number 1. Over here in the masculine side, the High Priestess is feminine. She's card number 2. Both are located in the past cards, right? In the past clarifiers for my masculine and my feminine. To me, when I'm looking at this, what this says, and it's similar to that water-fire energy that we see here, is this idea that these two might be opposites, or the person you may be in a relationship may at times feel very opposite to you, but they actually complement you or dovetail in with you on a deeper, more like soulmate-y, spiritual, twin flame way that is really profound and deep. It's almost like, am I making sense? Maybe I need more coffee, but I feel like with the masculine magician over here and the feminine High Priestess over here, it's sort of, now that these two have met, they're drawing out the other aspect of the self that was sort of lacking. Does that make sense? We even have a Page of Pentacles here, which is earth. And we have the Page of Cups here, which is water. Water and earth are complementary elements, both at the page level. So they're sort of like bringing out in one another the opposing element in a way. Are you guys seeing that? Do you get what I'm putting down? I hope you understand what I'm saying. So anyways, this to me feels like this was like, if there was any sort of dragging feet, I want my feminines to realize that it's not their fault. It's not anything that they need to worry about. What it is this is just the masculine's way of trying to be 100% sure, even though this High Priestess is their deeper intuition telling them very clearly what they need to do. Them trying to come to terms with that mentally and spiritually and bring that about in a way that is honoring both themselves and the feminine in this union or this coming together is key for them and very important. Okay? Now in their present moment, they get to this Page of Cups where emotionally they're starting to realize, oh shit, I got feelings. I need to present these. I need to get real about this. Hence this Nine of Cups energy that they're working on right now. So let's look at their present. We have the King of Wands. This is strong-willed and leader. Now this was in the masculines. This is the exact same card that was in the masculine, same side. I want to say even in the present. This is somebody willing to put in the work, take the action. This is all of this Wands energy we see up here in the top. This is them willing right now in the present to deal with the Page of Cups, which is this idea of an offering of love, those feelings that come along with that love. You know, this cup of coffee, they're waking up to the idea of that love. and I'm taking that from a very literal sense, but it's kind of a joke, but kind of serious. This King of Wands is about being strong-willed. They could fight it a little bit, or they could be strong-willed in the sense that they might drag their feet a little bit, while they still they've had a little bit of past struggle, I want to say, but ultimately, in the end, the reality that they know to be true deep inside of them is that this is their complement. This is maybe their one kind of thing. And so that's maybe scary for them. But I feel like with this King of Wands, to me, it feels like they are willing to put in the work, do the heavy lifting, so to speak, take the action, act on that. I think that the Cups energy is a little bit, because it's a page, it might be a little bit tentative or scary for them, but this King of Wands backing that up in the present says to me that they will be willing to put in the work. Let me see what we have next. The Ace of Wands. Bitch, new creation. It's a lot of fire energy on the masculine side. We have the 4, the 6, the King, and the Ace. To me, this Ace of Wands, they're looking for new ideas. And I mean this in the sense of, I almost feel like this might have to do with this third party energy. Whatever it is that they need to get done, whatever they need to remove out of the way, whatever is blocking them, that they're aware of. I believe that they are aware of this block or this third party. This is also why this card is in black and white, I feel like. There's some sort of like, some sort of hurdle that they need to get over, release, let go. They're noticing, the efforts noticed, I feel like, is this offering that's coming from their feminine. They understand what's happening. They are looking for new avenues and new opportunities to get there. They are trying to find that inspiration. I don't think that it's hard to find. I feel like with the King and the Ace right next to one another, I'd be willing to say that they are like desirous of this in a very strong way currently, especially with this Page of Cups backing it up. I feel like the Page of Cups, they may not be showing you the actual full level of their desire. That's this King and Ace. Let's see what the third card is, just because I'm a nosy bitch. Oh shit. The Ace of Cups. New love offer. Whoever my feminines are, y'all need to trust your masculines. That's what I'm saying right now. That Ace of Cups is the very coffee beans that we need to brew this Page of Cups cup of coffee to wake his ass up. He's already done woken up. He's got 2 aces. He's working on some sort of new opportunity, new way of doing this, both spiritually and emotionally. He is ready. Like, he wants to, or they want to come forward. They want to make this happen. The issue here, I think, for my masculines is going to be this efforts notice third party. This is going to be not only something is maybe potentially blocking this from happening right now. This could be any number of things for you guys. You guys are going to have to apply it to your relationship. Whatever you see as the giant block, this is it. It is going to get addressed. It is going to get looked at by the masculine. It is on the masculine side, I feel like. If this is some sort of reluctance to be emotional, if this is some sort of, maybe a job that they can't leave, a partner that they can't leave, situation, maybe they can't move to where you are right now. Whatever it is, it's like they've noticed it or they are aware of it, and they are going to, hopefully in the future, begin to start to take steps towards working towards that. They also may need some assistance from the feminine. I don't know, but I would think that with the cards that they have here, they will express that need if it shows up. So I don't want my feminines trying to push anything or force anything just yet. We'll look at what the feminine's cards are. But I sort of feel like the masculine needs to sort of do this work to move it forward. So let's look at the clarifiers for the future for the masculine. Okay, so we have the 10 of Swords. Painful goodbyes. This is always depicted both that man with all the swords in his back laying next to the river. straight up, some of you, and again, we've got black and white imagery going on. Straight up, some of my masculines moving into the future are heading towards some shit. Ooh, Dan, you're such a good reader. Oh my God, you're so eloquent. No, what I mean is that with all of this black and white energy and these cards being sort of dismal, the future for my masculines are going to be a little tough. That's this Nine of Cups energy here too. That's why we've got all these booze bottles here. Even though Nine of Cups is a good card and it's a beneficial card, it's about personal abundance and independence emotionally. There's a situation that my masculines need to break free of that will allow them that independence emotionally, okay? For some of you, it's just flashing in my mind. For some of you, these masculines might have an overbearing mother that don't like you. Could be as simple as that. And they need to sort of, you know, clearly define like, hey, you're my mom. This is the person I want to be with. I don't, you know, care. Or it could be a potential partner or somebody that they're still with that they no longer need to be with. They need to let this go. They know that they need to let this go. Is this going to be an easy let go? I don't know. Only because I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be hard. The Ten of Swords is never like an easy card. But I feel like with all of these aces, kings, and pages of cups and all of this sort of stuff in their present, this might just be the impetus, the energy, the focus that they need to sort of move forward, right? And to keep their momentum moving forward. Let's look at what else they've got going on in their future. The Hanged Man, which is Sacrifice and Dreamer. This is Pisces energy. This was actually in the feminine side last week. So again, this is them being stuck on a decision, a rather large decision. Let's just look at the last one really quick, because I'm nosy. And we have the Seven of Cups, which is illusion or fantasy. So my masculines going into the future are a little bit confused. I'm just going to be honest with that, especially with the Hanged Man and the Seven of Cups. Not what I wanted to see. Let me see here. To me, when I look at these masculines cards for the future, it feels like there's some work to be done. There's some like housekeeping that needs to be taken care of. There's some fear around doing that. That's the Seven of Cups. There's some fear around, is this really real? And I see some of this fear up here in this past lineup too, with this Six of Wands versus the Six of Swords, and with the High Priestess, that more subtler voice in the masculine's mind that says, oh, this is the one, or there's something here, but they can't quite, maybe in the past they couldn't quite fully voice it. I feel like they are in that awareness right now. They're in that awareness, and it's challenging them to look at some of the things that they need to change, some of the things that they need to undo. There's a lot that needs to be sort of changed, undone. And this fear of the Seven of Cups is that, am I going to get left in the lurch? Am I making the wrong decision? Am I, is all of this just a dream? The Seven of Cups is not necessarily a dream card, but we have dream here with the Pisces energy of the Hanged Man, and this idea that, like, if I free myself, am I gonna fall? And if I fall, where do I end up landing? It's kind of the vibe that I get from this future run for the masculine. Let's go to the feminine really quick, and I might be able to play off of. Let me just look here. It's funny to me, this masculine is like doing a hot cold thing. Even when I'm looking in the downward patterns of the cards, it's like they start off sort of good and then they go cold. Let me go to the feminine really quick and see what's going on in the feminine's past. We have the Ace of Swords, which is new clarity. It's a beautiful card. I love that card. All right, so again, we have now we have 3 aces up. We have 3 pentacles and 3 aces up. Ace of Swords is the mental activity, mental clarity, making a decision, with that Magician card right next to it, and also this Page of Wands here. And this feels like somewhere my feminines have stepped forward. If this is a continuation of last month's or last week's reading, my feminines that were sort of in their past, looking at their fear and judging their now by their past, have released that. It feels like they have released that, and they've started to create something different from this Magician card. They've started to think more clearly and trying to be more precise in what it is they want, trying to be inspired by their thoughts and the possibility that exists. They've maybe used this last week to sort of get that clarity and sort of make this happen. That's also powering on that Magician energy. We have the Knight of Swords, which is this impulsive energy. To me, impulsive doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing here. To me, this is about the idea of sort of trusting one's own thoughts around a situation versus thoughts of the past. I feel like it might feel impulsive a little bit to my feminines, but it's like the feeling that I get from these cards, especially with that Ace of Swords and that Magician, is, well, like, hell, what do I have to lose? Is kind of this idea that I get from that. Knights are always, they can be impulsive, but they can also be very sort of bringers of stability. They tend to be, you know, I don't know, protective and grounded and all of that sort of thing. So I think with this Knight of Swords, there could be some impulsivity, right? But I don't feel like it scares off my feminines. I feel like it's exactly what my feminines needed, because when I looked at the cards last week, if this is a continuation of last week's story, my feminines have been a little bit too fearful and a little bit not maybe impulsive enough. So this is them sort of jumping forward, getting clear, making that decision and jumping forward. And then we have the Nine of Wands, which is Wounded Battle. I can't even tell what that, oh, it's somebody climbing a mountain. So to me, I feel like this Nine of Wands, I feel like my feminines have said, okay, so I've been hurt in the past, I get it, I'm moving forward, I'm making newer, clearer decisions, and this is leading up to the now, right? The Wounded Battle card, that Nine of Swords card, to me feels like, okay, so you've understood that you've been through hard times, but you're not going to allow those hard times to sort of lead you anymore. You'd rather work from this place of sort of this impulsivity, this Ace of Swords, this Magician, this creation space of, okay, so instead of allowing the past to be my leader, what is my now? That's also the clarity of this sparkler. Like, you know, what can we enjoy in the present moment, so to speak? Now, with this present time space, the Page of Pentacles is my feminines trying to plan for structure, which would also sort of balance some of this impulsivity, make them feel a little bit safer, this was one of the end cards for last week's reading. So this is now moved into the position of the now. So we're now in this place of, okay, how do I map this out in a way that is structured and works and is grounded, right? And then we have the Seven of Swords, which is sneaky and disloyal. Not the best card. Oh God, guys. And I think that the minute I see this sneaky and disloyal card, I look at this stuff here and I think that, again, my feminines may not be trusting because there's so much work that my masculines have to do. Like, in this Hanged Man energy here makes me feel like, and the Seven of Cups is also this idea of not really sure which choice to take, which choice to make. And so right now, I think it's like this fight amongst my feminines about like staying grounded and producing plans for like a future that really exists, but can you really do that in the now when there's some sort of third party issue that needs to be addressed? And will they address it is the question. Are they being sneaky? Are they being disloyal? Can we fully trust them? And I think ultimately you can. That's this sort of Page of Wands energy. But And also, I speak like this Knight of Cups in the future says to me that like there is this opportunity for romance. So let's see what's going on. We've got the King of Swords, strategic and withdrawn. So all of this swords energy, we have the Seven of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords. There's a lot of head games going on. Not head games, but like mind tripping going on the feminine side. We've got, and it's funny because swords balances wild. So we've got wands, 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 wands. We've got swords, 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 swords. And fire feeds, fire burns through air, right? Swords being the element of air, and air feeds fire and makes fire bigger. So again, these are sort of complementary energies that are sort of showing up in my masculine and in my feminine, but they're showing up in very sort of different ways. Although we do have the King of Wands and the Ace of Wands. We have the Ace of Swords and the King of Swords. I feel like as grounded as my feminines are trying to be, and let me tell you, that page says to me that y'all aren't necessarily used to being grounded. As grounded as you're attempting to learn how to be, and as trusting as you're trying to do moving forward, it's not always easy for you. This Nine of Wands, this Seven of Swords says to me that it's almost like, I kind of get this feeling from these cards that you're like, okay, I'm going to try and trust this motherfucker, you know, and I think that he's giving you presently great reason to, right? This Page of Cups, this Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the King of Wands, all of these are really strong now cards of like, I'm here, I'm willing to do the work. But as we move into the future, the reality starts to set in for him or them of, okay, so doing the work means I gotta like actually undo some stuff that I may not want to look at, that I may not want to deal with, that emotionally is gonna like, you know, potentially be a struggle. So I think somewhere in the back of my feminine's minds, they're still really worried. And we have the Six of Cups. This is a beautiful card. This is also very much a lover's card or a coming together. This is past life nostalgia. This speaks to that idea. We have this sort of Six of Cups can also be sort of like a soulmate card, similar to the Four of Wands. I feel like that says to me that there's still this draw, even in the present, even while we're tripping, or even while the feminines are tripping or worrying, and they're trying to stay grounded and make plans for the future through that Page of Pentacles. They might be feeling a little distrustful at times, or they might go in and out of the feelings of distrustful. That King of Swords energy, to me, is decisive thinking, trying to be logical, trying to be smart, trying to be, grounded about it. But coupled with that Seven of Swords, I want to say be careful. You want to temper it with this Six of Cups, this idea of this sort of love and the connection that you feel. You need to trust. My gut is telling me as I'm looking at these cards, I feel like my feminines need to trust this connection, this groundedness, that energy of the Magician, the Ace of Swords, those sort of energies. Trust them over any sort of worries that you may have, that impulsivity of that Knight of Swords. I think that you need to be a little bit impulsive, my feminines. Like you need to sort of show up, turn on, throw caution to the wind, and kind of move for it. I think if you stay focused on the Six of Cups, that leads you into this Knight of Cups into the future, which is this opportunity not only to be romantic, but to give romance. The only thing that makes me nervous is that when you're at this romantic stage in the future, our masculines are in this third party Ten of Swords drama. He may not be able to just put you on his bike handlebars just yet. And so you're going to have to trust that they will make the right decisions, hopefully. All right, so let's keep going because I need to do that Hidden Truths cards too, because that will give me a better idea of whether or not this masculine is going to come through. Because right now with his present time cards, I'm going to say this, his past and his present look to me like he will come through, but this future does not look to me like he will come through. it looks like it's a lot on his plate. And it looks to me like you go in and out of having a lot on your plate throughout. Not only in the past, but also in the now. Let's see what the future holds for my feminines. The King of Cups. Now, this was in the masculine side last week. This King of Cups, I think, has two dual meanings. I think not only is this an opportunity for my feminines to sort of turn on the charm, turn on the romance, be supportive during this dark time for the masculine, but this is also this desire of, if I believe in this King of Cups, I can bring that back to him. And what we need to remember here is right now he has this Ace of Cups and this Page of Cups. So he's channeling some of this Cups energy already. And last week he was sort of like, that was his goal. That was his future time goal. But to get to this future time goal, he's got to go through all of this shit. Right? He's got to do this work. And so we have to trust and like almost live in this position, like step into those shoes and maybe be that King of Cups for ourselves, for them, for the masculine, and be in this romance Knight of Cups energy and trust that that's going to be strong enough to see them through. Remember, we have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is not the best card as far as the cups are concerned, but it is a card of cups energy. It is that card of emotions. It is a card of confusion at times and trying to make the right decision, trying to do things right. But I feel like it does sort of kind of coincide with what's going on. At least it's not like there's no cups energy at all in the masculine. I like that there's at least some of that element, especially when we're leading with such strong cups energy for the feminine in the future. So we have the Six of Pentacles. Now this was the end card for my masculine. This says equal generosity. So Six of Pentacles is always about sort of also that idea of having enough and being able to share it. That equal generosity to me is... it's almost like, to me, the way that I feel like, because this card last week was in this position for my masculine. And where I felt like the masculine was willing to support the feminine in her pain or whatever she was looking at. And now she's coming around and maybe fighting with the thoughts in her head and sort of trying to come to terms with them. She's becoming maybe the more stronger one and the one that's more able to offer that love right now, while the masculine does the work that he needs to do going into the future, or they need to do going into the future, so that they can sort of let go of these hang-ups, these confusions, these third-party issues that are blocking them from being able to be fully present in this relationship. But my feminines have to believe that the work that's being done, whether we understand it or not, or whether they understand it or not, their love is enough, and they can ground that love enough through this Six of Pentacles also to sort of support the masculine through, at least until next week, until we see what goes on in the cards next week. I love that this card is pictured by this fruit. So to me, it's like, you know, there's nourishment here. There's sustenance. There's connection. And that's what my feminines need to be moving towards. It looks like, let's look at the last card really quick. This is the Nine of Cups, which is wishful. Wait, how do I have two Nine of Cups? Oh my God, how crazy. This card belongs in another deck. No, oh, that's why. It's two different decks. What am I doing? So we have this wishful content Nine of Cups. So to me, I feel like the feminine ends up able in the future to meet this masculine, possibly teaching this masculine how to be. Now, what I find interesting just in the art of these two cards, even though they're in the match, is that my Nine of Cups here is drinking water on the beach, right? This beautiful, like, healthy picture of, you know, water is essential for survival. Here we have this Nine of Cups. This bitch is in front of a bar. She having a cocktail, right? She's abundance, independent, and wishful, right? So this is my masculine kind of trying to dream about what it is that they want and trying to make that happen. All of this love and and sort of sharing and kindness that's coming from the feminine in the future, coming into, like, say, this coming week, is going to be what's going to not only push my feminine into this place of the Nine of Cups, but her energy is going to sort of reverberate off of this energy and sort of maybe show this masculine a little bit more healthy way to be in their emotions at this level of this 9. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, right? So, and that's what this masculine needs, because this masculine, it's almost as if this masculine needs to, like, let go of this 9 of Cups. Stop thinking in wishfulness. Stop thinking of, like, you know, and actually making it happen, right? And so I feel like this 9 of Cups energy brings about whatever my masculine is missing in this 9 of Cups aspect. Does that make sense? So my masculine feminine will get on the same page at some point this coming week, maybe towards the latter part of the week, when my feminine really grounds in this sort of love and equal contentment, generosity, that sort of thing, where she stops, like, where they stop sort of, how do I want to say this? Where they stop sort of, like, where they accept things as they are from a place of love and acceptance versus maybe what they want or they desire out of it. That's going to free the masculine, I sort of feel like, to feel supported so that he can learn how to be in this 9 of Cups energy and support himself to move through these things that they're dealing with this week. All right, let me go to the Hidden Truths Oracle. We also have triple nines, 9, 9, and 9 of Wands. We have the King of Cups and the King of Wands, which is again another balance of water and fire. I'm just looking at patterns here. Excuse me. Oh, and we have the 666. The Devil's present, yay! We have 3 6s, 3 pages, 3 aces. All right, so let's see what we've got going on for the hidden truth for the masculine and the feminine. What do we need to know? What are the hidden truths this week? You guys, if you're watching, please share this video out and please like it. Please subscribe to either my business page or to my Facebook, my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching on Facebook, please go over to my YouTube channel and like it and subscribe there too. I can use all the subscriptions I can get. I will go through and read the comments after I finish with this reading. So let's do, this is for the masculine. So we've got 1 hidden truth, 2 hidden truth, 3 hidden truth. Wah ha 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 ha. We have 1 hidden truth, 2 hidden truth, 3 hidden truth. Wah ha 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 ha. This is from the Flaming Roses Hidden Truth Oracle by Jennifer Aquarius Tarot. Just so you guys know, I just really like this deck. Things we need to know about the masculine. Let's see. Listen to your dreams. And this is actually probably more so for the masculine to see this. If you're watching from the masculine side right now, listen to your dreams to me speaks to this idea of sort of this energy that we see not only in the past, but also in the present, right? This sort of love-focused, heavy-duty, high-hitter energy that you've got going on in your present right now. This is the reality. This is the dream. This is this 4 of Wands coupled with the High Priestess and even the 6 of Wands, right? This is, and transition tranquility is the 6 of Swords too, is this idea of, in the past, you knew, like, if I move towards this, there's something here for me. There's something that can be good. In the present, you're definitely holding on to that too. But there's some work now that needs to take place. Keep hold of those dreams, listening to those dreams, listening to where you want your final outcome to be, masculines. This is going to be the thing that's going to solidify this for you and also make this work, whatever you might be struggling with going into the future, or whatever might be causing you confusion, worry, or you're feeling hung up on. It's going to assist you to letting that go. It's going to empower you to move forward, and basically, you know, propel you forward in a way that's beneficial. So let's see what the... Take a shot, you need to relax. And this chick's got all the liquor bottles in front of her. Okay, so for my masculines that do imbibe in alcohol, maybe take a shot, maybe relax. There's nothing wrong there. I just would be careful not to drink over your emotions. That would be my only worry with that Nine of Cups, with her sitting in front of that bar. She makes me a little nervous, that one. But relaxing would also help. It would also help some of this stuff here. Because I feel like they're very clear in the present about what they want. And then the last one is lessons are being learned, or lessons being learned. So some of the hard work that is ahead for the masculine, especially in the future cards, there's lessons that are being learned here. There's nothing, you're actually gaining something through working your way through this. I think that those are beautiful things for those of you that are associating more with the masculine side of things right now. If you're feeling some of the things I've described in the masculine side, those all sound like those are messages directly to the masculine. Those do not sound like those are messages for me to give to the feminine to be aware of so that she can better understand, or that they can better understand what their masculine is going through. This is more about the masculine. These three cards are talking to the masculine, saying, hold tight, keep faith, listen to your dreams. You're learning right now, you're growing, relax into it, don't fight it, let it happen. Trust your intuition. That's this High Priestess card. Trust your ability to move through this. The strength of the King of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups. All of these cards are going to give you that sort of inspiration right now to move forward through anything that seems insurmountable, anything that seems a little bit scary, anything that seems a little bit confusing. You have what it takes to get there. If you don't feel as though you do, you are about to learn it, my friend. And from there, allow that learning just to take place. Just settle into that learning and allow it to happen. All right, let's look at the feminine's hidden truths and see what's going on for the feminine. Oh my God, this showed up last week for the feminine. Shadiness behind closed doors. My feminines are not trusting. I'm just looking at this because I want to make sure that this is my feminines not trusting the masculines. I feel like this is the only other way that I could interpret this card is quite possibly my feminines are not necessarily fully expressing themselves to their masculines. Which there could be a viable reason for some of you to not do that. But I really feel like this is about the feminine kind of, I would say this is a message to my feminines to, it's that all of that swords energy that we see up in here, this back and forth, this is dishonesty, disloyalty, sneaky, like this feeling of like not being able to trust, right? To me, I feel like at times, my feminines want to walk away. They want to, like, that's what this woman is doing behind this door. I feel like she's sort of shutting the door and, like, putting her hand up and going, no more. I want to tell my feminines, if you're associating more with this feminine side, you need to trust what's going on as best you can. If anything, you need to trust yourself. I feel like this future line of cards here, this King of Cups, Six of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, Knight of Cups, all of this is about emotional well-being and feeling better and grounding in that and being able to share that. You need to get to that point and you need to stop like sort of talking yourself out of it, believing the worst, worrying about the worst. That's this wounded battle of this Nine of Wands. That's this sneaky dishonesty of this Seven of Swords. You need to look to new thoughts, new ideas. Don't go back to the past. Try not to judge your masculine. Yes, there's shit the masculine has going on. I'm not going to deny that. Like, there's definitely something going on here. There's even a third party issue. To me, this third party feels known, but for some of you, it may be unknown, right? So that might come out. Some of you may not necessarily know exactly about whatever the third party issue is. And this third party issue doesn't necessarily have to mean like a romantic. Generally, as a rule, it does, right? But it could be like, say, an ex-wife that they share kids with, right? And he's having problems with her and he's not telling you about it. There could be that going on, right? But my feminines are sort of feeling it and going like, I don't know. So I just feel like don't shut the door just yet is what this is speaking to. I feel like this is, again, similar to how these three cards are more messages for my masculine to pay attention to and strive for this week. This is a message for my feminine to, like, don't focus on the stuff that feels weird just yet, because it hasn't proven itself to be completely weird. It might get a little hairball coming up this week because you might feel a reluctance from your masculine, or, you know, his confusion, his inability to move, or his sadness from some of the things that he may have to change to better position himself so that he can get to where he needs to be. Now, twin flame connection. I don't even need to talk about that. This is why y'all are so fucked up. This is why my feminines know. That's why y'all are scared. That's why y'all are trying to ground and be in love, and you know. And the thing is the masculines know too.